Yes. What's going on? Listen, today we're going to talk about how to enter the market and how to exit the market. Mainly, we're going to focus on how to enter the market because I've been trading these markets for a long time, and the way I look at the market is much different from a lot of other traders. And I want to break it down because a lot of times traders can't really explain the market to me in a simple way or at a high level. So that's what I want to do today. I'm gonna show you how I look at entering the market and how I process it, right? And to help you understand which way you want to go, because there are multiple ways to enter the market. And at the end of the day, I want you to choose, okay, what fits you, because at the end of the day, trading is not a black and white situation. It's more like what fits you. And we're gonna talk more about that. So let's go into some charts and let's look at the different ways to enter. But before we even get to that, let's talk about the 4 types of entries I'm going to talk about today. Number 1, you have the super aggressive entry. Number 2, you have the aggressive entry. Number 3, you have the conservative entry. And number 4, you have the super conservative entry. Okay, we're going to talk about all these different types and the pros and cons, and we go from there. So let's go. Okay, right here we have the super aggressive entry. Okay, the super aggressive entry is all about going into a level without looking for any type of confirmation. Okay, it's just literally getting in just because we see a level. So right here we see that we have resistance, right? And let's say that we are looking at the market and it's going up right here, and we see, okay, the market been selling off every time it hits this level. We're going to place a sell right here. This is very super aggressive because we are not looking for any type of confirmation. Okay, so a lot of times we will see the market will blow right past that level and it will stop you out. But again, there's nothing wrong with a super aggressive entry. Okay, every entry has its pros and cons. Okay, the pro with this is you could actually get a decent risk to reward. So you could get, maybe a 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 if you trade this way. Okay, so let me show you another example of a super aggressive entry. All right, here's another super aggressive entry, right? The market is going down. We look at the buy this support right here because overall the market is in an uptrend, right? So we say, okay, the market's in the uptrend. Most likely it should hold this support. So we're looking to actually buy when it comes back to this support, right? And you're looking to get in with, guess what? No confirmation. You're just buying as soon as it gets to the level. Again, nothing wrong with that, okay? I'm not going to be that trader that make fun of other people and tell you, oh, that's the wrong way to trade. No, because if you really study the market and you understand the market at a high level, there are thousands of different ways to trade the market. Okay, your way is not the only way. So I would never say, oh, you should never trade like this. I would never do that. Okay, what I would tell you is, hey, you can trade like this, but understand that it's super aggressive. Okay, so right here, boom, you try to get in and it blows right past that level and it keeps going down. Okay, so again, nothing wrong with it. Okay, but it's aggressive. Now let me show you guys another example. All right, so right here we have a resistance right here, and then we see that the market is going to that resistance. Okay, we can say, all right, as soon as it hit that resistance, we want to go short. Now notice how this one actually worked. Now a couple of ways you could get in the market if you're trading this way. You could get it right as soon as it hit the level, and you can put your stop loss above another key level, which is right here, or you look to the left, another key level will be right here. Okay, so you will put your stop loss above key levels just because that most likely will protect you. Now, another thing you could do is you could actually have a much tighter stop loss, okay? Because you say, all right, we are at a key level right here, but it should actually hold that level. So I don't really want a wide stop loss. This is where, the risk to reward can actually come in when you trade this way, where you get in as soon as the market comes at that key level, maybe have a little tight stop loss, but your reward, okay, is actually huge. Okay, so it will make up for, the losses that you have in the past. So to me, a great risk reward if you trade this way, but again, is super aggressive. It's not really my style. Okay, one way you could do it is you could actually initially have a wide stop loss, right? So let's say your initial stop loss would be right here. When you start to see your bias or your trade actually working, then what you could do is you could adjust your stop loss, right, to maybe to here, and then you could probably add some more because now you see the trade is working. So there's multiple ways to actually play this type of style, and that's how I would do that if I was playing a style where initially, my stop loss would probably be high, and then once I start to see the market going my way, maybe I tighten up my stop loss, add some more to the play, and let the trade work, right? So that's definitely one way you could actually approach this type of style of trading. Again, trading, guys, is not black and white, right? We learn the fundamentals, and then we actually incorporate our own little style. It's very similar to sports, okay? I talk about this all the time. Let's say that you want to become a boxer. A boxer, in the beginning, that person is going to learn the fundamentals, how to, jab and how to move your feet, whatever the case is. But eventually, you're going to develop your own style. Maybe you're going to be a boxer where you jab a lot and then you're waiting for, that power punch, right? You're trying to really knock the person down because you know that you got a, strong punch. So you know that if one of those punches land, you're going to knock that person out. So maybe you one of those boxers that you try to knock somebody out, with one clean punch. Or maybe you're a boxer where you just playing defense a lot, right? You're not really trying to knock them out. You're playing defense. You hit them here and there. You're trying to, make the points add at the end of the day. And maybe you're trying to wear out your opponent to the point where late in the rounds, maybe the 8th round or the 10th round, you're trying to get him all tired. And then you're trying to use your energy and knock him out, whatever the case is. So there are different types of styles when it comes to sports. Even basketball, maybe you're playing where you want to post up a lot, or maybe you're playing where they'll shoot a lot of 3-pointers. Whatever the case is, we all know the fundamentals, but at the end of the day, we all have our own style. Same thing with trading, guys. We know the fundamentals, but at the end of the day, we want to have our own styles. So this style might fit you, but me personally, I don't like the super aggressive entry. Sometimes I would do it if I'm trading maybe stocks or whatever, but this way is very super aggressive. So let me show you guys the aggressive way. Now, the aggressive way is actually, you're waiting for a confirmation, but you are the first buyer or the first seller in the move, okay? To me, that's very aggressive because a lot of times they could trap you. But again, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? It goes back to your style, okay? If you want to be that first buyer or seller, then go ahead. So right here, a good example, we have resistance. You see the first rejection right here. Let's say we got short right here. Notice how it came right back up. If you had your stop loss above here, you definitely got stopped out, right? But there's nothing wrong with that, You can always re-enter. Usually, if I'm doing this type of style, I'm going to re-enter because I know sometimes I might get stopped out. It is what it is, okay? So you could actually get in if they stop you out, okay? Let me show you guys another example. Right here, okay, we have demand, and then the market came to that demand area right here. Notice how we had that rejection right here. Being that first buyer right here is a good buy, right? Boom. Got in, you got your profits, and you're done. Now, we haven't really talked about exit, okay? How we really want to exit the market. Honestly, it all depends on, the market condition, but you could start with a fixed reward where you could look for 2 times your money. So whatever you're risking, 2 times it. Or you could look for a simple support area, okay? So right here, the first support area would be right here. So let's say you got in right here. The next support area or resistance area would be right here because we could actually find resistance up top, okay? And you could go from there. So that's how you could exit. So right here, we have that first aggressive entry because remember, it's the first candle. But I like this because the market is actually trending strong. So usually it could work in these conditions. So let me show you guys another example. Right here, we have the market going up, nice strong trend, right? So that first pullback, right, that first candle, it could definitely work, usually, especially if there's a strong trend right here, the market's holding up, definitely. So we have a nice bullish bar right here, boom. We could go long right here. So where do we want to exit? Okay, again, my exit would be the first support or resistance area. So the first resistance area is right here, this top right here, right? Because sellers came in around this area right here. Notice how sellers came in. So to me, my exit would be right here. Whoa, for a quick scalp to the high, and that's it. So that is the aggressive entry, okay? Because you're getting in the first time buyers are coming in that level. Again, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's aggressive because a lot of times they will try to trap you. So let me give you a good example. So the first example I showed you, they trapped you. This example right here, let's say that we have resistance, you going short because we see this nice rejection, boom, you get stopped out. It went back down, but still, the first seller, okay, got trapped. Now, usually you got to be careful if you see the market makes a monster move. Okay, so right here we have a monster move right to that level. Okay, so there's a lot of buying going on. So usually in my head, I'm saying, do I really want to be the first seller? Okay, there's a lot of buying. Okay, so usually the market don't sell off like that. So if I get in the first time it sells off, I might get trapped. So a lot of times I don't just get in the first time. But again, if you do get in the first time, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me show you guys one more example. Okay, so right here, we have a nice supply right here. You got in the first time, and it stopped you out. Again, nothing wrong with that. There are plenty of times where you get in the first time and it works. Okay, so you just have to understand that this, in my opinion, this is a aggressive entry. It's not super aggressive, but it's aggressive because you are the first buyer. Okay, now let me show you guys the conservative entry. Now the conservative entry right here, guys, is we have supply. Okay, and we're looking for 2 attempts. You're being conservative. You're not trying to be the first seller or the first buyer. Okay, you're looking for maybe 2 attempts, maybe a double top, maybe 2 attempts. So right here we have 1 attempt right here. Boom. Then the next one we have another attempt right here. To me, that looks like a great sell. Okay, because we have a nice bearish bar, and you're looking for price to go to a key level. Again, remember how we exit. We can exit right at support right here, and we can just get out. Okay, so that is a conservative entry because you're looking for 2 attempts. You're looking for the market to reject it more than once. Okay, so let's go to another example. Okay, so here's another example, guys. Okay, remember right here, you was the first seller. Boom, first seller got trapped. Now the second seller worked pretty good. It is, we have a nice bearish bar right here. To me, that's a perfect sign to get in the market, and we could actually go short and look for profit. Okay, so where do we want to exit? Since this is a big down trend, we could we could break it down. We could say, okay, we could maybe exit first one right here, and then maybe the last one to the bottom. But for the most part, if you just want to go for a quick 2 to 1, 2 times your money, you could do that too, right? So let me show you guys another example. Okay, here's another example, guys, right? We have resistance right here. Okay, so let's say that you start to sell right here. Boom, we're looking for 2 rejections. You got that second rejection right here, and we go short. Right now, right here, you got the first one rejection, and it worked. Okay, again, sometimes that first rejection will work. Now it sold off right here, and honestly, it looks like the first one worked again. But we have another one where we have 1 and 2, and that's we got that second rejection and it worked. So every entry has its pros and cons. Okay, the conservative, right, and the super conservative. The con is you are going to miss out on some opportunities, and you have to be okay with that, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to develop patience, and also you're trying to make yourself not get trapped too much. Okay, so you're okay with missing out. You're gonna miss out on a lot of trades, okay, but it is what it is, because now you're being patient and you're looking for, in my opinion, a little bit more high quality trades, because you're not trying to get in just because the market is at that key level. So let me show you guys the super conservative entry. Now the super conservative entry, guys, is you're looking for 2 rejections, or it could be 3, but you're not trying to get in as soon as you see that second rejection or even the third rejection. You're trying to get in once it breaks that low, okay, for more confirmation. So right here we have a rejection, right, and then we have another rejection, but we wouldn't get in right here at the top. We would get in when it breaks this low right here. Okay, this is called a super conservative entry because you were looking for even extra confirmation. Okay, and again, guys, when you're looking for extra confirmation, what do I like to do? I like to be conservative and super conservative, right? That's my style. Nowadays, before, my style was aggressive, super aggressive, right? Because I always want to trade. I always want to get in. Okay, but I realized less is actually more, or even just waiting for high qualities is actually even better. Again, I'm not saying that my style is for you or is the best. I would never say that. Okay, I'm not one of these gurus out here would say, oh, you got to trade the way I trade because it's the only way. Because honestly, that's a sell tactic. Okay, we talked about that in another video, but there's no best way to trade. Okay, it's whatever fits you. Okay, are you okay with missing out on trades? Are you okay with, man, today I even trade today? Are you okay with that? Okay, so whatever fits you. So this is a good example of a nice super conservative. So let me give you guys another example. All right, so here's a good example of a super conservative, right, where I'm looking for the market to basically sell at this supply, and guess what, it never really gave me a signal because I'm looking for the market to go below this low right here. So it's giving me rejections, but it's not giving me my entry, because this would be my super conservative entry right here, because once it breaks this low, it's a possibility that it could continue to go down. Well, we never got that. Okay, so I would wouldn't be in this trade. Okay, and then the market went up. So it could save you a lot of headaches sometimes, and it will help you just relax. Okay, again, I like to trade this way, but it's not the only way to trade. Let me show you guys one more example. All right, here's another example right here. We are at supply. We have multiple ways to enter. We can enter aggressive, super aggressive, conservative, or super conservative. Right here, super conservative would be if it breaks this low right here, okay? If it breaks this low right here, we would get in. Yes, our stop loss is much bigger, but it is conservative, and we're looking for a little extra confirmation to make sure that, you know, this could be a legit move, and it is what it is. You know, we had to pay for that. So that's a super conservative way of trading the market. Now, at the end of the day, guys, you have to choose which way you want to go. It took me so long to actually understand the market at this level, because if you just go on YouTube, this is why I tell you guys, you know, it's very good to just pay for your education, okay? This video right here, I'm just giving you guys some gems. This type of information people will actually pay for. But what I'm trying to say is, I've been studying the market for so long that I can break down the market this way, right, and give it to you. But a lot of people can't break down the market this way to give it to you, okay? Because they don't look at the market this way. The reason why I could do this is because I was losing so many years, right? I had to like literally dissect the market in a simple way for it to make sense to me, because I'm a slow learner. It's just what it is. So it took me a long time to really just understand the market. So the stuff that I'm giving to you guys, honestly, it took me years to just break it down in this simple way to give it to you. So don't take it for granted, but now you just got to figure out, okay, what I have to do. Do I want to be aggressive, super aggressive, conservative, super conservative, and go from there? Because remember, every trader is different. We're going to have different styles. It's just what it is, right? So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And also, if you want to learn how I trade, go below in the description. If you have any questions, comment below, because I try to answer all your guys' questions. Thanks a lot for your time, and please have a great day.